It's Wednesday, March 13th, and I'm your host, Paula Hersey. On Barnstable Today, we have coverage on the Youth Job Fair held last week, think spring and get ready for the golf season, and learn to count herring with natural resources. Now for a look at municipal news and notes. Municipal Vulnerability Preparedness. A climate resiliency event is scheduled from 9:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. March 29th at the Barnstable Town Hall. Explore how we are impacted by natural hazards and develop comprehensive strategies to reduce risks. The workshop will include characterizing hazards, identifying risks and vulnerabilities, identifying, prioritizing potential community actions, and recommending priorities for action to the community. Participants should contact Town of Barnstable at 508-862-4678. Lunch and snacks will be provided. The third annual Ready, Set, Work Job Fair, organized by the Barnstable Youth Commission, was held last week, was a huge success. More than 230 students from across Cape Cod, the Cape Cod region, even North Attleboro High School, came by busloads to the Hyannis Youth and Community Center to talk to employees about summer jobs and internships. The executive suite provided job coaching, and Kristen Boyd and the crew from Cape Cod Regional Transit Authority taught students how they could use CCRTA services to get to their newfound jobs. A special thank you to the local businesses who showed up to recruit motivated youths to enter the workforce, and thank you to Barnstable Youth Commission for continuing to provide youth in the town of Barnstable with all kinds of opportunities.
So far, let's see, within the first half an hour, we already have 120 kids. So the turnout is great, and hopefully they are enjoying it and finding jobs.
Their first job sets their whole future career path. If they don't learn a work ethic from the very beginning, they're pretty much doomed for the future.
The job teaches kids a lot. It teaches them responsibility, for one. Again, it educates them into adulthood, getting what adults have to deal with as we get older and have to fend for ourselves, so to speak. And it teaches them, hopefully it teaches them how to save money, how to put money away to prepare themselves for the future.
And the kids that are in this room today are not only Barnstable's, but our country's and the globe's future. So it falls upon us, the current employers, to try and teach them that work ethic so that they can carry it on, or else we're in big trouble.
Oh, I feel it's very important. I mean, these kids are, especially as they get older and they're coming into the workforce for their first time. For one, it keeps them active during the summer. It keeps them educated also. They don't get into trouble. And it's just, prepares them for later on in life, getting their first job and seeing how everything works.
It's an amazing and rich training ground for science education. So everything from biology and chemistry and anatomy, everything they're learning in the classroom, we can turn around and reinforce in our internship in real time while they're working with patients, and they work right alongside our staff scientists and veterinarians to go through these processes, learn these concepts, and actually help these animals get back out to the wild. And they do everything from feeding and cleaning to working right alongside the vets to help medicate and care for animals in need. And then we also work on some research projects regarding microplastics right now, the efficacy of vaccines in different animals, and the list goes on.
That's easy. They can ride our public transportation. Cape Cod Regional Transit Authority covers all 15 towns on the Cape. We have access to all the major shopping plazas, and our goal here today is to help them figure out how to get to where they're working from their home or from school. Well, that's our goal, is try to help them out and let them know that our drivers are well trained and certainly are there to help them if they have questions. And they can certainly contact us, and we would be happy to do a one-on-one training with them if they were interested, or even a group training if they had some friends that would like to learn how to use the system.
Yeah, so this year we kind of updated a little bit. We brought in a collection of laptops, and we have everyone filling out just an online form to log in, and they're just creating a registration of their name, email, school, and grade, just so we can contact them for the future events we have, and be able to reach out to them. Yeah, so overall, I mean, people are doing as you'd expect. They're going around to the tables, talking to businesses, and a lot of them are walking out with at least one application to consider filling out. I'm definitely a little surprised. I knew there would be an increase year over year. We were really putting in a lot of effort trying to make sure everyone heard about this event, but it's really impressive that we are about half an hour into the event and we've already surpassed the amount of students we had last year. It's really nice to see.
I was amazed. I heard all the commotion from my office down the hallway, and I know it's just starting, but it's already very well attended. There's so many kids here, and it's enlightening to see. That means that the kids are, really thinking about their future. So I like to see that.
I am. This is my third year here too. It is an amazing turnout, and it's really heartening to see this many kids out there in the community getting ready for their summer work and beyond.
Greatest thing today is right now in this room, and we've only been open about 10 minutes, there are more kids in here today than there were in the entire fair last year.
I am. I think it's wonderful. It's so great to see so many of the youth out looking for jobs and being a part of our community.
So it's very encouraging that 14, 15, 16, 17, 18-year-olds, and many of them their first time looking for a work, are actually looking for a job. So kudos to Barnstable. This was great.
The owner of Polar Cave, he came to us and he was amazed at the turnout that we got. And I think they're just so happy that they have these, because finding employees on Cape Cod can sometimes be hard. So I think they're grateful that they have this opportunity to get so many youth employees.
Yeah. Overall turnout was important for them, and we've delivered this year, certainly.
Spring is right around the corner, and Director of Golf Operations, Bruce McIntyre, joined Sarah Beal in studio to highlight the upcoming golf season at our 2 municipal courses. And if the weather holds, both courses will be open tomorrow, Thursday, March 14th.
Bruce, thank you so much for joining us today. We're going to talk all things golf, and it's finally March, so hopefully that means the weather's going to start turning and the courses are going to be open. I know Hyena stays open year-round.
Yep.
OBF is going to be opening soon. The first thing I want to talk about this morning is there was recently a golf summit held here at Town Hall between all the local municipal courses, golf directors, town managers, finance directors. The chamber was there. What can you tell us about this golf summit?
Well, I can tell you that it was the first of. We've never had a golf summit. As directors of golf, a number of us have gotten together yearly, multiple times per year to discuss our, how we can make golf on Cape Cod better as a whole. We've never gotten together with the addition of golf committee members and or administrators and finance directors, et cetera. So it was a first of its kind. I thought it was a well-attended meeting. The town of Yarmouth was gracious enough to bring along their consultant, J.J. Keegan. J.J. Keegan is a world-renowned golf strategist. The town of Yarmouth employed him to help them with some of the things that they're trying to go through in their town. And so he came and gave a talk to everyone present about the status of golf and how to improve the golf business on the Cape. Primarily the thrust of it was how can we as a group of municipal golf course operators benefit each other? How can we work together? If you go down to Myrtle Beach or you go to Ocean City and the list goes on of areas where multiple golf courses work together, they share tee time reservation systems, and the idea is to create destination golf locations. Now, Cape Cod has the second largest concentration of golf courses of anywhere in the country with the exception of Myrtle Beach. Wow. So we have the golf courses here. And we find ourselves very competitive against one another because a lot of times we're vying for the same golfers.
Right.
But from the aspect of tourism golf, stay and play golf with hotels, motels, and bolstering, bringing in people here more to affect our economy. Outside of golf, this was a novel idea, and I think there's a lot of merit to it. And I think it's probably, it's a little late this year to incorporate big changes. We're all in the middle of our fiscal year, so we figured we would meet in the fall after the busy season, and everybody would have a little bit of time to go back and look at all the information, and hopefully maybe next fall start to think of something for the following year that would be a cooperative marketing plan for municipal golf on Cape Cod, and who is going to be the gatekeeper, so to speak, of that. And that's maybe when we bring in the chambers of commerce and things like that. They can help us market the golf courses, but they can be that outside person who's not in, Barnstable versus Yarmouth or whatever.
Right.
So it was a good meeting all around. I think it was an eye-opening meeting for a number of people who work for municipalities and never really got exposed to golf and really don't know what goes on in the world of golf and how we do what it is we do. So I think it was very beneficial.
Wonderful. And
Yep.
the town of Barnstable is really lucky that we have 2 golf courses. Yep. And anything that helps get that information out to the public, I think, is wonderful.
Just make sure everybody, we have 2 municipal golf in the town of Barnstable,
Right.
but we have 9 golf
Wow.
courses in the town of Barnstable.
That's a lot.
That's a lot. Golf is big in town. They just might not play at the public level. We have a number of what I would consider gold star private clubs. Well, it's a destination for people to play there as well.
Right.
That might come in a second home ownership, in an area that's more inclined for high-end golfing, so to speak. So there's a lot of golf going on in Barnstable.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Another thing we want to talk about this morning is Jesse Scheckman was recently named he got the Merchandiser of the Year award from New England PJ,
Yes.
which is amazing.
It is.
Jesse hasn't even been with the town that long, about 4 or 5 years.
4 years.
And he's turned around the Hyannis Pro Shop.
4 years, and is more than doubled Pro Shop sales. And it is a huge award. He won the Cape Cod chapter of the PGA Golf Professional of the Year award in his second year at Hyannis. And that, we bring in the tournaments that he runs and the leagues that he's developed. And he was recognized for that. This takes it one step further. It represents 750 golf pros throughout New England at 450 different golf courses.
Wow.
And there's there's the public, the private, and the resort category. Jesse won for the public category, but that's huge. Public category, Pine Hills is a public course.
Right.
Quincy, Granite Links in Quincy is a public golf course, but they aren't like a municipal. So it's kudos to Jesse. He's done a super job. He's created a great little stream of business down there at Hyannis Golf Course, and he's just done a super job.
That's
and
awesome.
It's great to see him recognized for it, too.
Yeah, well deserved.
Well deserved.
That's
Yeah.
great. We also want to talk about, so the USGA has changed some rules to the play of golf.
To a lot of them. Yeah.
Yes. And so we're gonna talk about this further as the season gets going.
Correct.
But let's just do a quick little overview of what some of these changes are and the things that people need to be aware of coming into the golf season.
Well, it's a staggering amount of changes. It's not just a few simple changes. The onus is to make play a little bit quicker. We all know that, we hear about, oh my God, it took me 5 hours to get around. So try to speed up the game of golf a little bit. What they've done is reduced penalties for hitting balls in certain areas, whether it be in a lateral hazard or an out of bounds, and the penalty may be decreased. Leaving the flagstick on the green while you putt, forever, the flagstick had to be out. Well, now you can leave it in, and if you've watched any pro tournaments lately, it's really weird to actually watch them leaving the flagstick in for the first time. Incidentally grounding your club in a bunker, which anytime you ground your club in a bunker would be a penalty. That club does not touch sand until you swing through. Now, if there is some incidental, you're not going to get a one-stroke penalty. So there are certain things in there, makes it for the average golfer a little bit more fair and definitely quicker. Those are the easy ones. Now, there's a lot there to look at, and I'm not going to get into it. Suffice it to say, both of our golf professionals are taking 3 classes this winter to learn the new rules and how to apply them and implement them. When that is all done, we're in April, we're going to be having a rule seminar at Hyannis Golf Course for the pros to go over all the rules changes. I mean, we give out 500 rule books a year. Well, those old rule books are good for fire right now. So the new rule books are here. If you've ever read the rules of golf, it'll certainly scratch your head. So whether or not this does what they're hoping to do, that remains to be seen, but it's certainly going to be an interesting year for all golf courses because the people are going to come in with different rules. What about this? What about this? A golf pro is going to be necessary at a lot of tournaments to be able to make a ruling somewhere along the line as to whether or not there's a penalty to be incurred or the new rules cover it. So it's going to be an interesting year on that regard.
I would say so. When you set the date in April, make sure you let us know.
Absolutely.
We'll let our viewers know.
No doubt.
Where can people go right now if they wanted to look into what some of the new rules are?
I would just straight to the USGA website.
Okay.
I mean, there's so much information coming out, it's almost overload. But go to the USGA website. If you don't do that, in the next couple of weeks, all the new rule books are coming into all the clubs all over the place. I know we just got ours. And I'd say if you couldn't find a place to have someone explain them or go over them with you, I think that's going to be a rare occurrence. There's going to be multitude of opportunities with all of these golf clubs and their members and golfers to go over the rules. It's universal. So
sounds like a lot of big changes. So
a lot of big changes. Yeah.
And we also want to talk about, you're in the middle of your membership drive for this upcoming season.
Yeah.
What do people need to do to get their memberships? How much are they?
If you're already a member, first of all, annual passes run from April 1st through March 31st. So you don't have to renew now, tentatively speaking. Your membership is good until April 1st or March 31st. However, we do different things along the season, incentives and things like that to get people to maybe join earlier. Barnstable.golf will have a rate sheet. We have so many categories of resident and non-resident. The resident fee this year, a resident annual pass holder is $1,070. For the over 80, it's $535. Junior golf for residents of the town of Barnstable, and juniors are being, under the age at which they could drive. $130 for both golf courses.
Can't beat that.
Students, and that's up through college, as a full-time college student, $260. We created a young adult membership category a few years ago, and I think this year we had to increase the rates on everything, but I think they just got up to it $600 this year. I mean, that's under 30. So a young adult under 30. Our non-residents are higher than that by probably $100 across the board, but our non-resident pass holder growth has been higher than our resident pass holder growth. Last year we had 1,201 annual pass holders of all categories, which was the highest number we've ever had. So our annual pass holders and our membership numbers are really good. Weather is the driving force. If it's really, really bad and nasty out all spring long, a lot of people are going to wait. We also have noticed over the last few years that more and more of our golfers have become snowbirds, and they're down in Florida and they don't come back till April or May. And instead of waiting and thinking, geez, I'm not getting my full 12 months out of my annual pass, they look at it as, I'm coming to the Cape in May and this is what I'm going to pay to play golf in the town of Barnstable until I go back down south in October and November. And they're happy with that. So. Yeah, it's renewal season. There are memberships available at each golf shop. There's memberships available at HYCC. You can go online and download a membership at barnstable.golf. Any questions, and certainly call either golf course, but we make it pretty easy.
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah.
Lots of places you can do that.
No doubt.
And the last thing we want to touch on is Old Barnstable will be opening early March.
Yes.
Soft opening.
Soft opening. The goal is tentatively Monday, March 4th to open the golf shop, the pro shop, get things ready for the season. The golf course, on the other hand, is still going to be weather pending. It looks like we're going to have, we've been in and out of this weather schedule pattern here, so we could be open one day and close the next. It's the way Hyannis has been all winter, and we would certainly like to think that this spring versus last spring, where we had 4 nor'easters in March and April, that we'd have a little bit more better weather. I think courses be open more and available to the golfers more than last year. That's the hope, anyway.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed.
The weather
Absolutely.
will be nice
I'm
here
hoping.
on out.
Yeah.
And everyone will go and get their membership.
Woo-hoo, you got it.
Awesome.
Absolutely.
Bruce, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
1 fish, 2 fish, 3 fish? Natural Resource Officer Amy Croto teaches us the basics of counting herring. This important volunteer position is something the whole family can do.
River herring are considered a keystone species, which means they fill a very sort of specific niche. They're extremely important as a food source in areas where you have fish runs that are completely open to spawning grounds, but you don't have a lot of fish showing up. It's typically an indicator of poor water quality. So they help you sort of keep an eye on your water quality. They help you maintain the health of your streams, and they are a very important food source for local wildlife.
Right. So is this a natural fish run, or was this built at some point in time and then now maintained?
The Martins Mills River itself is a natural herring spawning run.
Yep.
However, the Mills River itself, as it curves around, ended up going through a number of cranberry bogs. So this 1,000-foot fishway that we call the flume was created as a diversion to keep those fish from getting into the cranberry bogs and dying. This is the counter board that people will encounter down at the water. We're not installing it quite yet because the fish aren't physically here yet. But this is when you see a fish pass over this board, which will be in the water, would be when you would count that you've seen a fish, and then continue that process throughout the counts.
Okay, excellent.
So this board goes inside this slot down here.
Okay.
So it would be resting in the water. There's way too much water there right now for me to even entertain the idea of putting this in yet.
Right.
But this is where the fish are counted. And people stand over here and then watch that board and count however many fish are coming over in any 10-minute period. So you sign up for an hour, but you only count for 10 minutes. So even though it's an investment of probably about 20 minutes by the time you're done, you're only actively counting fish for about 10 minutes.
Okay.
And the spawning window on average tends to run through April 1st through about June 15th at the latest, although the vast majority of runs in this town are done by the middle of May, depending on how brutal your winter is and how late the arrival of the herring is, because it's all temperature related.
Okay.
This is our counter box. It says Barnstable Natural Resources Herring Count Program, aptly named. Inside of the box are all of the goodies that you need for counting. So you have here your water thermometer, complete with very long strings, so you can dip it in the water and kind of stand on it while you're taking your temperature. We also have our for getting the temperature outside in the air, because the water temperature and the air temperature are different and both need to be recorded.
Okay.
We also have our tally counter, so that way if you're in the height of the run and there are tons of fish passing and you don't have the ability to just count them in your brain, you can just hit the tally counter every time you see a fish pass, and then after your 10 minutes you can record whatever number is there.
I want to volunteer.
Okay. Happy to have you.
So I think I need some formal training. How does that happen?
So each year, Heather Rockwell and I come together to do a joint herring counter training. Depending on the size of the group, or if there's, say for instance, is road work being done on Route 149, that may change the location. In previous years, it's been at Liberty Hall. This upcoming year, it's at the Osterville Library. And you come for a couple hours. We have refreshments and light snacks. I sort of give you an update on the status of all of the herring runs in town. We usually try to have a keynote speaker every year to discuss something specific to your river herring that people might find of interest. And then we physically go through the box, show you how to count. There's a breakdown of how to get an account for the volunteer software, and then we show you how to set up your login, and then how to pick the dates, and then how to check your schedule, and all those sorts of things throughout the training.
But what's the benefit to the town as individual residents? Why should we do this?
Well, I think it's important for people to get outside. There seems to be a large trend now where people just don't meander outside as often as they used to. I think it's also important for people to know what goes on in your local environment. There are a lot of people that don't even know that we have herring runs in this town, that don't know what a river herring is. And I think that it's important for people to have an emotional and personal connection to their environment, because we believe that an educated public is a more compassionate and more compliant public. So, you know, having additional eyes down here during the daytime helps us if there are poaching events, or tells us sort of, you know, locations where there may be issues going on. And it really just, you know, shows people and gives them a better education of their local environment.
Excellent, thank you. Up next, things to do, places to go, and people to meet. That annual Marston's Mills Herring Run Count meeting is March 16th from 9 to 11 a.m. It's at the Osterville Library. This meeting will be a training and information session. Abigail Archer, Marine Resource Specialist with Cape Cod Cooperative Extension, and Woods Hole Sea Grant will speak about herring runs and restoration projects on Cape Cod and southeastern Massachusetts. Amy Croto, Barnstable Natural Resource Officer, will present an update on the status of herring runs in Barnstable. There will be an optional field trip to Middle Pond Fish Ladder offered. Please contact Heather Rockwell to volunteer, or for more information, 508-420-0780. Comments, suggestions, accolades? Connect with us on Facebook and Instagram. Email us or send us an old-fashioned note by carrier pigeon. Channel 18 works for you. I'm Paula Hersey, and thank you for watching Barnstable Today.